If you're living in the UK and feeling the pressure of rising bills, this is a direct and important update you need to hear today. A £300 cost of living payment is still available for many people, including pensioners and those receiving certain benefits, and as we move through the Easter period, this support could make a real difference. But here's the key point: not everyone will receive it automatically, and some people risk missing out simply because they don't know they qualify or haven't taken the right steps. In this video, we're going to break everything down clearly, simply, and step by step so you understand exactly what this payment is, who can still get it, and what you need to do right now to make sure you don't miss it. Right now, many households across the UK are still dealing with the ongoing impact of higher living costs. Energy bills, food prices, and everyday essentials remain significantly higher than they were just a few years ago. In response to this, the government has officially confirmed several rounds of cost of living support payments designed to help those on low incomes, pensioners, and vulnerable individuals. Among these, the £300 payment stands out as one of the most significant boosts, especially for older adults who rely on fixed incomes like the state pension or pension credit. What's important to understand is that this £300 payment is not a random bonus or temporary giveaway. It is part of a structured cost of living support package that has been rolled out in phases. Many people may remember receiving previous payments, sometimes split into smaller amounts across the year. However, this £300 installment is particularly important because it is often linked to eligibility periods and benefit status at specific times. That means whether you receive it or not depends heavily on your circumstances during certain qualifying windows. Now, here's where things start to become crucial. Some people believe that if they didn't receive the payment earlier, they are no longer eligible. But that's not always true. In fact, there are still cases where individuals can receive this £300 support, especially if their benefit status has changed recently or if they have successfully applied for qualifying benefits like pension credit. This is why this Easter period is so important. It's not just about receiving money, it's about making sure you haven't been left out due to a simple delay or lack of information. Let's take a closer look at who this payment is really aimed at. The £300 cost of living support is generally targeted at people receiving means-tested benefits. This includes pension credit, universal credit, income support, income-based job seekers allowance, and income-related employment and support allowance. For pensioners in particular, pension credit plays a central role. Many older adults don't realize they are eligible for pension credit, even if they have some savings or a small private pension. And missing out on pension credit doesn't just mean losing a weekly top-up, it can also mean missing out on additional support payments like this £300. This is where a lot of people unintentionally lose money. They assume that because they own their home or have modest savings, they won't qualify. But the rules are often more flexible than people think. Official guidance has repeatedly confirmed that thousands of eligible pensioners are not claiming pension credit, and as a result, they are also missing out on cost of living payments tied to it. Another important detail is how these payments are delivered. In most cases, if you are eligible, the £300 payment is made automatically into your bank account. It usually appears with a reference that includes wording related to cost of living support. There is no need to apply separately for the payment itself if you are already receiving a qualifying benefit. However, and this is critical, if you are not currently receiving one of those benefits, you will not receive the payment unless you first establish eligibility. This leads us to one of the most important points in this entire discussion. Timing matters. Even if the main payment window has passed, backdated claims for certain benefits, especially pension credit, can still make you eligible for the £300 payment. That means if you apply and are found eligible for pension credit covering the qualifying period, you could still receive the payment after the fact. This is something many people overlook, and it can result in missing out on hundreds of pounds that they are rightfully entitled to. As we approach Easter, many households are already facing additional seasonal expenses. Food costs tend to rise, energy usage can fluctuate due to unpredictable weather, and for many older adults, there are extra costs related to travel or family visits. This makes the £300 support even more valuable. It's not just a payment, it's a buffer that can help ease financial stress during a time when expenses often increase. There is also a psychological aspect to consider. Financial uncertainty can be extremely stressful, especially for those on fixed incomes. Knowing that support is available and understanding exactly how to access it can provide a sense of stability and reassurance. That's why clear, accurate information is so important. Many people miss out not because they are ineligible, but because the system feels confusing or overwhelming. So, as we continue, we're going to break everything down even further. We'll look at how to check if you qualify, how pension credit works in simple terms, what deadlines or backdating rules you need to be aware of, and the exact steps you can take today to make sure you don't miss this £300 payment. Because the truth is simple, this money is there to help you. It has been officially approved as part of a wider support system. But it only works if you know how to access it. And in times like these, every pound matters. Now that you understand why this £300 cost of living support is so important, let's go deeper into the most critical question: who actually qualifies, and how can you check your eligibility in a clear and simple way? The key thing to understand is that this payment is not based on age alone. Many people assume that because they are pensioners, they will automatically receive it. But in reality, eligibility is tied to whether you are receiving certain means-tested benefits during a specific qualifying period. That means the system looks at your financial situation and whether you are already part of a support program designed for people on lower incomes. For older adults, the most important benefit connected to this payment is pension credit. This is a government-approved program specifically designed to top up the income of people over state pension age who are living on a low income. It acts as a financial safety net, ensuring that pensioners have a minimum level of weekly income to cover basic living costs. Here's where it becomes very important. If you are receiving pension credit during the qualifying period set by the authorities, you are usually eligible for the £300 cost of living payment automatically. But if you are not receiving pension credit, even if your income is low, you may not receive the payment at all unless you take action. This is one of the biggest gaps in the system. Many pensioners who are fully eligible for pension credit simply never apply. Sometimes they think their savings are too high. Sometimes they believe the process will be complicated. And sometimes they just don't realize the benefit exists. But official estimates have consistently shown that a large number of eligible individuals are missing out, not just on weekly payments, but also on additional support like this £300. Let's simplify how pension credit works so you can clearly understand it. The program looks at your weekly income and compares it to a minimum threshold set by the government. If your income falls below that level, pension credit can top it up. Even if your income is slightly above the threshold, you might still qualify under certain conditions, especially if you have disabilities, care responsibilities, or housing costs. Another important detail is savings. Many people believe that having savings automatically disqualifies them, but that's not true. You can still qualify for pension credit even if you have savings, although the amount you receive may be adjusted. The system uses a simple calculation to estimate how much income your savings might generate, but it doesn't immediately exclude you. Now, let's connect this back to the £300 payment. The authorities set a specific window of time, known as the qualifying period, during which you must be receiving one of the eligible benefits. If you were receiving pension credit, universal credit, or another qualifying benefit during that time, the payment is usually issued automatically. But here's the crucial part that many people miss: pension credit can be backdated. This means that if you apply now and are found eligible, your claim can sometimes be backdated to cover the qualifying period. And if that happens, you could still receive the £300 cost of living payment even if you weren't officially receiving the benefit at the time. This is one of the most powerful opportunities available right now, especially for pensioners who have not yet applied. However, there is a time limit for backdating. Typically, pension credit claims can be backdated by up to 3 months, as long as you were eligible during that time. That's why acting quickly is so important. Waiting too long could mean missing the window not just for the weekly benefit, but also for the additional £300 support. Another factor to consider is how your circumstances may have changed recently. For example, if your income has decreased, your savings have reduced, or your living situation has changed, you might now qualify even if you didn't in the past. Many people never recheck their eligibility after their initial assumption, and that can lead to missed opportunities. It's also important to understand that this payment is part of a wider support structure. Receiving pension credit can unlock access to other forms of assistance as well. This can include help with housing costs, council tax reductions, and even additional payments during winter months. So when you look at the £300 payment, it's not just a one-time benefit, it can be the starting point for a broader range of financial support. Now, let's talk about how you can check your eligibility in a practical way. The process is more straightforward than many people expect. You can check your eligibility by reviewing your current income, savings, and circumstances against the pension credit criteria. There are also official helplines and support services that can guide you through the process step by step. For those who are not comfortable using online tools or dealing with forms, there is support available by phone. Trained advisors can help you understand whether you qualify and assist you in making a claim. This is particularly helpful for older adults who may prefer speaking to someone directly rather than navigating digital systems. If you're helping a parent, grandparent, or someone in your family, this is something you can do together. Many successful claims happen because a family member steps in to help with the process. Sometimes all it takes is a simple conversation to uncover that someone is eligible for support they didn't even know existed. As we move closer to Easter, the timing becomes even more important. This is a moment where taking action can directly lead to financial support that could ease pressure during a costly period. The system is already in place, the payments have been approved, and the support is available, but it depends on awareness and timely action. So the key message from this part is very clear. Don't assume you're not eligible. Don't assume it's too late. And don't assume the process is too complicated. Many people who thought they wouldn't qualify have successfully claimed and received both ongoing support and additional payments like the £300. In the next part, we're going to go even deeper into the exact steps you need to take to apply, what information you'll need, how long the process takes, and how to make sure everything is done correctly so you don't face delays. Because at this stage, it's no longer just about understanding the payment, it's about making sure you actually receive it. Now that you understand how eligibility works and why pension credit plays such a central role in unlocking the £300 cost of living payment, the next step is taking clear, practical action. This is where many people hesitate, not because they aren't eligible, but because they're unsure how to begin or worried about making mistakes. So in this part, we're going to walk through the process in a simple, straightforward way so you can move forward with confidence. The first thing to understand is that applying for pension credit is not as complicated as it may seem. The system has been designed to be accessible, especially for older adults. You don't need advanced financial knowledge, and you don't need to calculate everything perfectly on your own. What matters most is providing honest and accurate information about your situation. When starting your application, you'll need some basic details. This usually includes your national insurance number, information about your income, details of any savings you may have, and information about your housing situation. If you live with a partner, their details will also be included, as pension credit is often assessed based on household income rather than individual income alone. One of the most important things to remember is that you should not delay applying just because you feel unsure about a detail. Many people wait too long because they think they need to gather every single piece of information before starting. But in reality, you can begin the process and provide additional details if needed. The system is designed to guide you, and support is available if anything is unclear. Once your application is submitted, it will be reviewed by the relevant authorities. They will assess your income and circumstances to determine whether you qualify. If you are approved, you will begin receiving pension credit payments, which are usually paid regularly into your bank account. But beyond that, this approval can also trigger eligibility for the £300 cost of living payment, especially if your claim is backdated to cover the qualifying period. This is why timing is so critical right now. As mentioned earlier, pension credit can often be backdated for up to 3 months. That means if you apply during this period and you were eligible during the earlier qualifying window, you may still receive the £300 payment even if you weren't officially enrolled at the time. But this opportunity is not open indefinitely. Waiting too long could mean losing access to both the backdated benefit and the additional payment. Another key point to keep in mind is accuracy. While the process is designed to be supportive, providing incorrect or incomplete information can lead to delays. That doesn't mean you need to be perfect, but it does mean you should take a moment to double-check key details like income figures, bank information, and personal identification numbers. Small errors can slow things down, and when you're dealing with time-sensitive payments, delays can make a real difference. For those who feel uncomfortable handling the process alone, help is available. Family members, friends, or trusted advisors can assist you in completing the application. There are also official helplines where trained staff can guide you through each step. These services are there specifically to ensure that people do not miss out due to confusion or lack of confidence. It's also worth noting that once you are approved for pension credit, your financial situation may improve in more ways than one. In addition to the regular payments, you may become eligible for other forms of assistance. This can include support with housing costs, reductions in council tax, and access to additional seasonal payments. So while the £300 cost of living support is a major focus right now, it is only one part of a broader system designed to provide stability and security. As Easter approaches, this becomes even more relevant. This time of year often brings extra expenses, whether it's higher grocery bills, travel costs, or simply the general increase in spending that comes with seasonal changes. For many households, especially those on fixed incomes, these additional costs can create real pressure. That's why accessing the support you are entitled to is not just helpful, it can be essential. Another important step after applying is to stay informed. Once your claim is submitted, keep an eye on any communication you receive. This may include letters, messages, or updates about your application status. Responding promptly to any requests for additional information can help avoid unnecessary delays and ensure your claim is processed as quickly as possible. If you are already receiving a qualifying benefit and believe you should have received the £300 payment but haven't seen it in your account, it's important to take action. In some cases, payments can be delayed or require verification. Checking your bank statements carefully and contacting the appropriate support channels can help resolve any issues. The sooner you act, the easier it is to identify and fix any problems. Now, stepping back and looking at the bigger picture, what we're really talking about here is awareness and action. The £300 cost of living payment has been officially approved to support those who need it most. The system is in place, the funding has been allocated, and the process is active. But none of that matters if people don't take the steps needed to access it. This brings us to the final and most important message. The £300 cost of living support is more than just a payment, it's a lifeline designed to help ease financial pressure during a challenging time. For many pensioners and low-income households across the UK, it represents an opportunity to cover essential costs, reduce stress, and gain a sense of stability, especially during the Easter period when expenses can rise. But the reality is simple. This support does not always reach everyone automatically. Eligibility rules, qualifying periods, and application requirements mean that some people must take action to receive what they are entitled to. And unfortunately, every year, thousands of eligible individuals miss out, not because they don't qualify, but because they didn't apply or didn't realize they could. What you've learned today is clear and practical. You now understand that pension credit is the key that unlocks not only regular financial support but also additional payments like the £300 cost of living help. You know that backdating can make a difference, that timing is critical, and that applying sooner rather than later can directly impact whether you receive this payment. You also know that the process is manageable. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need perfect knowledge. You just need to take that first step, check your eligibility, start the application, and seek help if you need it. Because once that process begins, you move from uncertainty to possibility. As we move through this Easter period, this is your moment to act. Whether it's for yourself or someone in your family, taking a few simple steps today could result in hundreds of pounds of support, money that is there for a reason, money that has been officially approved to help people just like you. So don't ignore it. Don't assume it doesn't apply to you. And most importantly, don't wait until it's too late. Because when it comes to support like this, awareness creates opportunity, but action is what turns it into real, tangible help.